Welcome back to the final part of our AWS storage series covering Amazon Elastic File System EFS, Amazon S3 Glacier, and how to differentiate between all the AWS storage options we've discussed. We'll explore shared file storage for collaborative and scalable workloads, low-cost archiving solutions for compliance and long-term retention, and detailed comparisons to guide your decision-making process. This part wraps up the series with actionable insights for real-world implementations, helping you select the optimal storage based on performance, cost, and access needs. Let's finish strong and tie everything together. Amazon EFS provides simple, scalable, and elastic file storage that can be used with AWS cloud services and even on-premises resources via the Network File System (NFS) protocol versions 4.0 and 4.1. It allows shared access, meaning thousands of EC2 instances can connect concurrently for multiple availability zones within the same region, supporting strong consistency and file locking for collaborative environments. EFS auto-scales dynamically without disrupting applications. It grows and shrinks as you add or remove files, ensuring you always have the storage you need. Common use cases include big data analytics for parallel processing, media processing workflows like video rendering, content management systems for web assets, web serving for dynamic sites, and shared home directories for development teams. As a fully managed service, there's no minimum fee or setup cost. You pay only for the storage you use. The architecture of EFS centers around mounting the file system in your virtual private cloud (VPC), with data replicated across multiple availability zones for high durability and availability. You create mount targets in each subnet where you want access, each with an IP address or DNS name for mounting, and it's recommended to use one availability zone to minimize latency. Key resources include the primary file system with properties like ID, creation token, size and bytes, and state, plus supporting elements like tags for metadata organization and mount targets for connectivity. To implement EFS, follow these steps. First, create your EC2 instances with necessary key pairs and security groups. Second, provision the EFS file system in your chosen region. Third, add mount targets in the appropriate subnets. Fourth, connect your EC2 instance and mount the file system using standard NFS commands. And finally, test by reading and writing data. Then clean up resources to avoid unnecessary charges. Management is straightforward via the AWS console, CLI, or APIs. Amazon S3 Glacier is a secure, durable, and extremely low-cost storage class designed specifically for data archiving and long-term backups where immediate access isn't required. It offers costs that are competitive with or lower than on-premises solutions, making it ideal for cold storage. Key terms to know. Archives are the base units of storage, such as any object like a photo, video, or document, each with a unique ID and optional description. Vaults act as containers for these archives, specified by name and region. And policies include vault access policies to control who can perform operations and vault lock policies to enforce immutability for compliance. Retrieval options balance speed and cost, expedited for 1 to 5 minutes, access at highest price, suitable for urgent restores, standard for 3 to 5 hours, a good middle ground, and bulk for 5 to 12 hours, the lowest cost for large-scale retrievals. You can upload directly or use your S3 lifecycle policies to transition data into Glacier automatically. Glacier fits various use cases such as media asset archiving for video and news footage that accumulates into petabytes, store affordably, and retrieve for distribution when needed. In healthcare, it helps retain patient records like electronic health records or imaging data for decades to meet regulatory requirements securely. For regulatory and compliance archiving in sectors like financial services, Glacier Vault Lock ensures data can't be altered. Scientific data archiving simplifies management for research organizations, and digital preservation aids libraries with automatic integrity checks. Lifecycle policies automate data management by transitioning objects between S3 classes based on age or access. For instance, move from S3 Standard to S3 IA after 30 days, then to Glacier after 60 days, and optionally delete after a year, reducing costs as data becomes less active without manual oversight. To compare AWS storage options, EBS is block level, providing persistent low latency storage attached to a single EC2 instance in one availability zone, ideal for databases or boot volumes requiring frequent updates. S3 is object level with scalable, URL-based access from anywhere, suited for websites, backups, and content distribution with 11 nines durability. EFS offers file-level sharing that's elastic and mountable by multiple instances across availability zones, perfect for multi-instance applications like big data workflows. Glacier is an object-based archive with low-cost, delayed retrieval, best for long-term archiving where access is infrequent. Key differences include access speed. EBS and EFS for low latency versus S3 for web scale and Glacier for hours-long retrievals. Costs: EBS higher for performance, Glacier lowest for storage, and max sizes like 16 terabyte for EBS volumes versus 5 terabyte for S3 objects or 40 terabyte for Glacier archives. Choose based on your workloads, input-output needs, sharing requirements, and budget. Security is robust across these services. Use IAM policies to define granular access, and for encryption, options include server-side with S3 managed keys using AES 256, customer-provided keys for full control, or AWS Key Management Service for centralized auditing and rotation. Glacier encrypts by default while S3 and EFS require enabling it. The key takeaways: differentiate services based on access patterns, frequent for S3 standard, shared for EFS, archival for Glacier, cost and provision for EBS pay-per-use or others, and durability all offer high-level, multiple availability zones for resilience in EFS and S3 versus single availability options like one zone IA. This approach optimizes your AWS solutions for efficiency, scalability, and compliance in diverse scenarios. In summary, throughout this series, we've explored AWS storage types from block and object to file and archive, delved into functionalities like EBS snapshots, S3 classes, EFS sharing, and Glacier retrievals, and learned to differentiate based on use cases, performance, and pricing. You can now confidently identify when to use each service, explain their features, and build cost-effective solutions. Thanks for joining the AWS Storage series. If you missed them, check out parts 1 and 2 on EBS and S3. Like, subscribe for more cloud tutorials, and comment your storage questions below. Thank you.